Welcome back to day 95 of our chess journey to 1500 ELO on chess.com. Now, yesterday after I got home, I just fell asleep and I just slept until today, so I'm sorry about that. There was no video yesterday, but we'll pick it up from today. Let's jump ahead into our game here and find an opponent. I guess I was just too exhausted, to be honest. It's been a tough couple of days. But now, at least I am rested. We get into this level defense again. The knight comes out here. For some reason I remember e3 being quite important here in this level defense. But against this move, this pin makes sense as well. So let's come out, pin the knight. But honestly this is just not okay. Upon playing bishop to g5, apparently we transposed into the bonnet gambit, which I guess means this pawn was hanging. At least that's what I think it's going to mean, because there is nothing else to be gambited here, at least as far as I'm aware. Now the bishop is out. We'll connect our pawns, defend this pawn, defend our knight with a piece. Look to play bishop to e2 here to get our pin sorted and our king ready to get castled. I'm curious here to have a look at this bonnet gambit stuff after the game here to see whether this was actually a blunder or not. Which I guess it might have been, but at the same time it seems to have been theory. Let's come out here, play logically, play quickly. This seems like a decent move. This might be the response. h3, maybe this, and castles is likely to happen. But we get this, which honestly I did not expect. We take, and we get the bishop here. Do we just castle here? Makes sense to me. And then we can start to open up the center at some point to take advantage of our bishops. I've been a bit sick recently. There's been a lot of stuff going on and the weather has gotten colder, so it does not really surprise me. We get this. Now do we come out with a knight? Do we take? Do we go here? Do we bring the queen out here? Honestly, I think I might prefer this idea. Trying to induce a weakness here, and if not, maybe apply some pressure here and simultaneously getting our queen out. It's quite typical once the bishop leaves this c8 square. We still have a lot of time here. Been trying to play quickly this game. So following that logic, we'll come out with the queen and see what our opponent does. Have not quite decided between those moves here. This does not seem good. There could be this kind of a maneuver if we went to d2. This is slightly more active immediately at least, but we can't come here because of the pawns. So I guess we'll have to see. I'm still checking here. I haven't really mentioned this out loud, but I keep on checking whether this is a move or not. Now I think we have this. Developing the knight while defending our queen. So this can be played, preparing for something like this. But honestly, our bishop is, or has moved. Do we have this or this? Because this pawn might be hanging now. I think I prefer this, because if we see this, then we have the pawns here, we'll trade off this, and we don't have any isolated pawns. Because this and this is what I did not quite like. Or does it work? No, I think it does, because then we take, and this seems to be an okay position. Which is why I'm choosing this option. The knight comes out. Now do we come up here, cut off the bishop and hit the queen? It's certainly an option here. And then if this is played, we can't quite come back because the bishop would hang, but we could try to find some way of applying pressure to this. If takes, I think we take like this. Alternatively, actually, I think this, and this might be good as well. Trying to get some extra pawns here to break the structure. Anyways, it's going to start off with this pawn move. So let's just go for it. This is looking scary now, I'm realizing. Because of this. So if this is played, we might have to take. But the queen takes here, which is fine, I think. However, I don't think we can take here now because of this. Or does it work? Takes, knight here. Takes, takes. Takes. Takes, and it might just be even material. Which honestly I don't quite mind, and we could get our bishop here. And our rook will be opened up. So I think this seems fine. And even if this is played, we could go here. If takes, we have takes, which seems to work as well. We can defend our pawn, but then this might become a move. If that's played, maybe here makes sense. If this, we play on the c file, trying to grab this pawn, and trying to grab this. If this is played, I guess rook here, and if something random is played, we take and grab this pawn. So I think we might want to open up this position here, but our pawns are weak, so it might not be the best idea. Looking in hindsight, but we get this. What is our best approach? This bishop is still undefended, but the knight is strong. I'd like to come here and hit the c-pawn. However, it could be pushed. I'm realizing just now this is playable. And then we'll have this, and we can't quite take. So honestly, I might have misplayed this positionally. Can't come here because of the rook. Is this a move? It might be, trying to double up. And grabbing the file. If this is played, we can't quite target the rook. Honestly, I think I played a bit too quickly here because I do not like what happened with the pawns. But we'll try to see what we can do. Is this a move? If the pawn takes, I guess we take like this, and this is exposed here, and our light square bishop opens up. If this is played, is this good? Looks like it might be, but honestly the pawns are awkward. We get some weaknesses, but honestly that's to be expected. Let's come up. I think this works. This would be good. Would have this, and the knight can't come back and defend the bishop. If this is played here, I guess we maintain the pin. And if this is played, we shift onto this diagonal, which is a better diagonal as long as we don't have this pin. And this will be quite uncharacteristic in the sense we're gonna have quite a few weaknesses here in terms of pawn structure, but I'm hoping that works out. If it doesn't, well then it doesn't, but hopefully this should work. We'll have ice down this diagonal. If this is played and this, I think I calculated this perhaps. This probably works too. But this is played, but this might be a blunder. Because now we take and get this. I think our opponent made a mistake here because the rook is quite overloaded. However, what happens here? Can we do it in this order? This. Maybe knight moves. We take. Then our opponent might take here. I think I'd like to take this rook first and then come here because it seems more concrete. It looks at least like it's going to work better in our favor. If knight jumps in here, I think once again this is an idea. This should be the only move that plays for any kind of an advantage, or at least that tries to play for something in the game. I think we'd have to take. The pawn will take. We'll have to take here. This will get taken. This might not be the best position. Certainly not as good as I hoped for it to be, but maybe we'll get something out of this. This, what happens if we take and we get takes? Then we move the rook here and are forced to play like this, which Well, that's not ideal either. And honestly, this and this, but then this can be taken. And we don't have the knight defending it. So here I think we have two options, this or this. We calculated this already. This doesn't work for our opponent, so it's got to be this and this. Takes. And we win a pawn, I guess, but our opponent gets in here, which is not quite ideal. I think we'll have to go for this. This will be played, and we'll have to take the bishop. Just looking at alternatives, because we still have time. But as I mentioned, I do not quite see a concrete approach here, apart from taking. I guess we take. Alternatively, we might have played like this. But that's not necessary. We'll come here if the rook comes down here. So we'll take this pawn first. If this is played, we kind of cage the rook in on a2. So there is not really any infiltration here because a3 and a4 are covered. So we can't get taken like this. The knight here can't come here because of our pawns. So this might be a bit safer than I thought it was. This is likely to be played at some point by us, but our opponent rushes the move first. This is a good move. I think we have to take. But do we have options? Let's try to use our time here. If we get takes and takes, then this is cut off. Is this playable? If the pawn is taken, then do we have anything? I don't quite see the follow-up there. Can we push? Then this hangs, so that's not ideal. So I guess we might just have to take. I think we might have hit b4 as well, looking in hindsight. But still, this could have been taken, so maybe not. Sorry, I don't mean to be coughing so much. It's just I still have somewhat of a cold, or rather a renewed cold. We get takes. Now is this a move? Looks like it to me at least. But then what happens here? Maybe this is good? And then I think it's difficult to defend because this and we have this. Sorry. We can come to c1 and the rook could come here. But I think this trade is okay for us. We'll take. If takes like this, I think we win the game like this because of the back rank threat combined with our bishop staring down at this so the knight can come back. So I think we'll go for this move. Is this a move? Oh, this pawn could be taken. Honestly, I did not see this. So this is hanging now as well, which is not ideal. However, if we take here and this is taken, if we come up, where does the knight go? Well, it could come here and check us again. It could come here and hit this. This move, I think I prefer this, and if this is played, we come up and we can just keep this diagonal here in our favor, I guess. Or do we have this move? Is this necessary though? If we have this and this is played. Sorry, and been coughing a lot tonight as well. It is how it is, but the cold will come to an end. I think I prefer this. Defending our pawn on f3. I don't see any follow-up here. We come here and then this is defended and this pawn will fall at some point. Now this is a move, but we have this and it can't be taken because of back rank checkmate. So this would be devastating. In some lines at least. Oh well, I didn't realize we could have just taken here because of this. Oh no, we couldn't because the rook is still here. But if the rook does leave the 8th rank, we do have checkmate threats. The knight can't easily move. This doesn't work, this doesn't work. I mean, it could come here, and then we take the pawn, and we're happy. It could come back here, but if it comes here, we take this with the bishop, and we're good. I think we can take here. And this pawn is defended. Was looking at this, but then our opponent can come and defend this pawn. This doesn't work because of this. So we'll take with this. If this is played, we come up here and we should be in a good spot. The pin does not seem that scary. Let's reevaluate here. We have this as well, defending the rook and hitting the knight. So I think this works. We'll go for it and see what the opponent does here. This is still on the menu. If we get onto this diagonal now, we still have annoying back rank threats because we control those dark squares our opponent weakened. Didn't quite expect this move though. Is it a threat or not? Is this the idea? Well, it might be. We can't come here now because of the rook. What I looked at here was this move. Trying to threaten some promotion here and forcing our opponent's hand. If this is played and this, we have this. If our opponent comes here, what is our best move? Here we might have this, but then knight here and this pawn will fall. This. We can't keep pushing. Does this work? Surely it seems annoying at least, right? Forcing the rook off, hitting this knight, and threatening some back rank stuff like this by bullying the pieces. I think this bullying kind of maneuver looks decent. It's going to keep our bishop in a good position as well. Let's come up. I'm kind of expecting this move, although this might be a move as well. But if this is played, I think we have this, this, and this, and we can protect ourselves. Do we have this? Not yet. But if we play this now, the knight has to be defended. And if it's not, it's lost. So I think we have this now. If the knight is not defended here, we go here. I think this might be a blunder. Either the knight should be lost or there should be a checkmate. Although I might still be missing something. I think this works. Because the knight can't defend the back rank technically, I think, because none of the gems work. We get this, but surely this is just a checkmate, right? Looks like it to me. We'll go here, and we have our mate. Our opponent resigns, and we have a win today. I realized for the last couple of videos I had forgotten to thank our opponents in the chat as well. Although you can't quite see it with this setup, still I like to do so. Just to keep a nice vibe going in the chess space. Anyways, we are up to 1465 ELO now. This is our highest ELO so far. Let's jump ahead into the game review. So today we played with 94.4 and our opponent played with 79.9. I see we had a high game rating again today, which is quite typical in those 1d4 games, at least when we play them, because of the Queen's Gambit being a positional kind of opening where you don't have a lot of tactics, where you can blunder accuracy. We had a mistake, we'll go through this once we analyze. Let's have a look here. This was all normal. Apparently this was this bonnet gambit, which I was curious about. Is this the best move? I think it is. How do we win this pawn back? Is this playable? Here, apparently h6. No, there we lose our advantage actually. This is best if we come back. Best move is e6 and coming here, applying pressure, but we get pinned, and apparently we just do not win the pawn back that easily. So this was not the best move. It was a slight inaccuracy instead. As you can see here, should have played e3. Which a lot of you guys try to tell me, I know the reasons and I try to implement it myself as well, trying to get this dark squared bishop out when playing this kind of a setup here. But sometimes, especially as I've seen in the Slav defense, e3 seems to be necessary. We got this though. Apparently we should have jumped in, which makes sense. And the bishop might have had to come back, and we would have played from here. But we went here, which was not the most accurate move. This was not best either, should have went for this immediately. But still I think this was quite okay. Honestly, there are just minor differences here in accuracy. It's just a matter of which practical decision we choose to go for. 3 pawns here. I saw this, but wanted to go for this instead. Didn't quite like this position though. But on a higher depth, it's apparently just a draw. This was best. I was glad to have found it. And here, there was never really a win. If we went here in this position, this still, and what happens here? Do we not win a piece? Apparently, yeah, okay, this still hangs. So yeah, it was never really a win here. I thought our opponent might have blundered, but it worked out in their favor, or rather it was a draw here at least. This was all good. There were some drawish tendencies here. Should have taken here though. Do not quite know why I went for this. I guess I did not want to lose pawns. This was a mistake. Apparently this blundered it. I thought this maneuver seemed good, paralyzing the pieces by forcing them to defend the back rank. Apparently this still worked. And this was a move. Is this not bad? No, because of this and this. Okay, but if this was played, it can't be played. But honestly, that's a bit difficult to find. A several move long maneuver where you force the king to walk into a fork. Still, maybe should have spotted it, didn't. But we got this checkmate off, which I'm quite happy to have found. I realize I forgot once again today to mention the name of our opponent, Mr. Jake 13 from France. Thanks for the game. Thanks for watching to the end of the video, guys. This has been our game for today, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.